What up, nerds in the simulator? Is this thing even working? I'm my camera on my Android S fucking old as fuck shit the bed. And so now I'm on the older than that iPhone, which at least the camera works. And you're like, what the fuck are you saying into that camera that those ne'er-do-well globalists would shut down your phone? Exactly. It's exactly where my mind goes, and I believe that every one of the telephone poles in my neighborhood are spying on this house. I'm just kidding. Hi, how are you? How many times have you washed your hands today? I went to Mass today. It was awesome to learn about the Transfiguration. Oh my God, literally just becoming a ball of light in the same way that the Spirit arrives at the complete circle of the host with its whiteness and its purity, virginity, if you wanted to add that into, I'm sure, the sacred lore and practices. And then inside of that enclosed space, which in its circle has a fullness, a totality, and then the Spirit, and then comes into the host. You take the host, and then you either opt for the wine or you don't, because the fucking coronavirus fears have gotten to you. So the wife said, you are not going to take the wine. In fact, if you do, I'm never going to kiss you again. That's exactly what she said. And then we went to communion, and she took the wine. How about that, huh? What a fucking dodge. It was great. So, yeah, I did that. And then we Purelled on the way in, on the way out. So I really think that as much as the media wants to drive this coronavirus fears, and of course if it's a coming global pandemic, then you should say, well, is it a coming global pandemic on the level that SARS was, or the level of Ebola? How was that handled? Were there calls to tank the media? No. So the fact that there is now, more than likely, is just another political operation or a political push. I mean, it has to, because why else are we in the middle of being, you can't even go get isopropyl alcohol. Is that what that is? No. What's the stuff you put on yourself when you get hurt? They don't even have that stuff. No hand sanitizer. I watch people losing their minds in Australia over toilet paper. You know why there's videos of people at Costco buying toilet paper? Because you can buy $40 worth of toilet paper for $17, and then you don't have to spend $120 more to have that much toilet paper. So you go and you buy that one, and you get the paper towels, and it's Costco, and it's a Saturday. It's busy. It always is. And so then the news says, look at the fucking panic. So you're either gonna. Here's the thing. You're either gonna die of this or you're not. I don't know what to tell you. This is either gonna be the biggest thing ever, or it's not. Based on the people who have been lying for years, more than likely not. More than likely, it has its period of where it can really spread. And more than likely, because of the moves that were touted as racist or national, whatever the. The people who launched the virus and their complicit media when they told you 5 weeks ago that they halted travel would make it worse. Now those same people are saying that the government who did too much in the beginning is now not doing it. They're just observably lying again. In the same way they observably pushed impeachment and Russian collusion. And it's the same people doing the same thing for the same owners, I guess, who are putting this together. Because if it's as dire as they say, okay, then if Trump is completely, you can't beat the guy, and the numbers are huge, and the only way you could beat him is by, rigging the election. So then what do you trot out? You lead with a progressive movement that's so powerful, and the youth's involved, and they don't show up to vote, but they're really fucking into showing up and being at rallies. And then that pushes a candidate who has these far leftist progressive, which, whatever, they all want to say it's the best country you've ever heard of in Europe, but in reality, in the totality of socialism, there's just millions and millions killed, and they want millions and millions to continue to be killed here. All right, through abortion. How about that? And let's see, how else would they kill you? Through poison food, to then give you a news feed that's full of doubt. And so there are people who there have been in a panic since Donald Trump's been, since he won the presidency. They really do believe that the sky is falling, that they are in peril. And at some point they looked around and said, oh, I guess I'm not. And then there are some people who are just really think that it's imminently here. So their news feed and the way they react to all of this is fucking on an 11. So the same people pushing the virus, the same people pushing the first reaction to the virus, they're the same people pushing the tanking of the economy in relation to the virus. They're the same people who now says the government's not doing enough for the virus, and the same people who didn't say anything during Ebola and who didn't say anything during SARS and didn't do anything during the various flus and various colds that we've had that have gone on presidents and presidents and presidents before. So see it for what it is. The same people now lying to you or continuing to lie to you. They're going to get more. Chris Hayes is now fucking out of his mind on this. The issue is that they really are pushing baseless fear, so their people are becoming less and less. The people who really are fucking in it. And the people who are like, oh, this is fucking a work. Then they backed out and they're watching it for what it is. And these players who have been pushing this are now so far deep into it that they only can continue to do this. It's not believable. It's not believable media or propaganda at all. Again, because they've had this now 4 years, and Olympics, and is the Olympics going to happen? Oh my God, I've never cared less. Yeah, well, 90% of the ads have been fucking sold. How about that? How about the fact that, thousands of people are going to lose a great amount of money working for South by, and the people who didn't lose were the people who chose to invest in the insurance. I would love to see it rescheduled, but, see it for the fucking... How about that? How about being in that choice? Where you're like, look, this fucking thing, we're a rock fest, this thing's going to fucking happen. There really is a knowledgeable fear of this thing really, because it could. We don't know what the deal is. It really could fucking spring off. You could fill up the ICU units. It could be as bad as, because they don't know. But the people who do know don't seem to be panicking. And the people who also know in the other way seem to be selling the same fear they've always been selling. So more than likely it's a gimmick. Now, from a business standpoint, would you want your fucking name on an event where people could spread a disease in? Fuck no. And if you could profit from fucking making the good business decision of having insurance, should you? Yeah, of course. It makes sense. All right. So what I believe America's insurance is just fucking washing your hands. 20 seconds a day. What do you do? You count to 20 in French? Are you saying Our Father, a couple of Hail Marys? Are you singing your favorite Motorhead song? As long as you're doing for 20 seconds. And I think that, in the same way complexity is defined by simplicity. And so you have this complex factor of this disease out there. Is it acting like the flu? Is it more deadly? Why do they want to kill most of the voters over the age of 70? Don't worry about that piece of it. That's all I can see in this. It's social engineering. And so what they've done is they've taken a digital fear-based pandemic. And what they've done is they've taken the simplistic action of washing your hands for a designated amount of time. And it seems like had the communist government, who may or may not be complicit in this disease, for all we know, the videos I'm watching of people yelling that it's fake from the buildings of Wuhan are actually real. But they also could be fake. Who knows? And maybe instead of telling that it wasn't a big deal back then, they could have also been telling people to wash their hands. But they were selling the don't go to work. They were selling all this other stuff. And it seemed to negatively affect. Why is it happening to the United States of America? Whose idea was it? Who's behind it? And are we ever going to get justice?